This is Channel Islands National Park, a chain of 5 small islands lying off the coast of Ventura, California. For the next 3 days, I'll be backpacking across the park's largest island of Santa Cruz, venturing along cliff sides from above and into sea caves from below, all while surrounded by miles of ocean in every direction. But first, I have to get there. And this is probably the only time in this video that you're going to see the van, because for the first time, I am flying to a national park instead of driving there. Ironically, one of the whole reasons I got the van in the first place was to avoid dragging my backpacking gear to the airport over and over again. But on this particular occasion, it made way more sense to leave the van in the driveway at home than to drive 3,000 miles across the country just to leave it in a parking lot for 3 days. Now you can see why I would rather use the van than do this. And this is only the first step in getting there. But it'll be worth it, especially since it means visiting Los Angeles, where I'll be staying with my twin brother and his cat.
This is Beans. He's just a silly little guy.
Until it's time for step 2, heading to Ventura Harbor.
Okay, the ferry leaves in, I want to say like 2.5 hours.
Finally, it was time for step 3, taking the ferry to the Channel Islands. This is definitely a long trip for me to make, but part of the adventure is getting there in the first place. Just as the excitement of humpback whales and pods of dolphins was over, land began to appear in the distance. This is the island of Santa Cruz, the largest of the 5 Channel Islands. The native Chumash name for this island is Limu, which means in the sea, a fitting name for a place that's over 20 miles from the mainland. This is Prisoners Harbor. It is one of 2 locations where visitors can be dropped off on Santa Cruz Island, and it is also the starting point of my backpacking trip.
Born over a fault line.
I have somewhat of a short trip to my first campsite. I think it's about 3 miles, and I haven't been backpacking in a really long time, so this should be a decent way to ease back into it. Although, this is a very steep trail.
Cracking like a glacier. Any semblance of restraint.
I'm now on the actual Del Norte trail, which takes me to the campsite for tonight. And I am about to have to climb up this insane looking hill. So I'm not really good at identifying plants, but I'm like 90% sure that like a ton of plants on this island are lemongrass. The only reason I know that is because they're so fragrant, and like if the wind blows in a certain direction, all I can smell is lemongrass. And normally I would not have known that, but last night I had Thai food and it smells the exact same, so I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
But I really shouldn't have been so sure because I'm wrong. This is actually sweet fennel, which is an invasive plant to Santa Cruz. So as good as it smells, it's really not supposed to be here. Unfortunately though, it's kind of everywhere.
Okay, not much further now, so about to, I guess, find my campsite and set up for the night. That was definitely pretty tough, but got everything set up and I'm definitely ready to just sit and do nothing for a while. Because these islands are pretty remote, most of the wildlife here is either in the air or in the sea, but there is one mammal that is pretty common to the island, and that is the island fox, which I definitely have seen a couple roaming around. They're definitely pretty shy, but they will go after your food, so they have fox boxes at all of these sites and at a couple of other places as well to store items so that both foxes and apparently some very intelligent crows don't end up stealing all of your food.
But honestly, if this adorable little guy walked up to my campsite and stole my dinner, I don't think I could stay mad for long.
Hi, buddy. Hi. You're so cute. I'm a little nervous about today, considering I'm going about 3 times the distance that I did yesterday. Luckily I have all day to do it, so I guess I'll just take my time getting there. 10 miles, but first I've got to pack everything up. Okay, only 10 miles to Scorpion Cove. Okay, first canyon of the day. I'm about to head down this edge and back up the other side, which looks pretty steep. So I've left the Del Norte trail and I'm taking this road for I think like a mile or so until I hit the Montañón trail, which then actually takes me down to the campground. I'm about to get fogged out here in a second. I can see just this wave of fog coming towards me. It's happening really fast, so don't think there'll be much of a view. Right ahead of me is the highest point on the trail, which means the climbing will be over really soon, and then I'm just gonna make my way all the way down to sea level towards the campsite. Since being dropped at Prisoners Harbor yesterday, I'd traveled over 9 miles on foot just to get to this point. I'd come a long way, but all that distance was starting to take its toll. But just like I promised myself, I took my time. I gotta be honest, that was pretty brutal. Imagine like taking 25 steps, I'd count to 25, and then I would have to stop for like 2 minutes. And I was like on the edge of an exposed rocky cliff, so definitely enough excitement for one day, but I am finally descending down into Scorpion Cove. The terrain has gotten a lot rockier, but I'm excited because I've just spotted some tents down below, which means I should be at the campground very soon. This is how I feel right now. I want to have some dinner, but I'm also too tired to move. Last night I slept for 12 hours straight, which is pretty impressive, but definitely not unexpected after yesterday's extremely long hike. Today, it is my last day on the island, but I will not be using my legs much from here on out because I am about to go on a kayaking tour of some of the sea caves that surround the coast of Santa Cruz. Our first stop was Elephant Rock, a formation that looks like an elephant trunk drinking from the ocean. And I was about to go right underneath it. Already, the first cave was incredible. And while waiting for everyone to go through, we grabbed onto these stalks of giant kelp just underneath the surface to keep ourselves from drifting away until it was time to head to the next cave. Splash zone. You've probably noticed that I've recently become very comfortable with kayaking, but honestly, I've sort of always been simultaneously fascinated by and terrified of the water. And I guess that's mainly because there's a whole world just underneath the surface.
After 3 incredible hours of paddling along cliff sides and into cathedral-sized sea caves, it was time to head back to shore.
So I just got in from the kayaking. It was incredible. If you do one thing while you're here, do that. But now I'm just killing time and waiting for the ferry to arrive to take me back to the mainland. Literally about to leave and the sun finally just comes out now. It's so pretty though. Glad I got to see it like this before I left.
The Channel Islands were not at all on my radar until my unexpected change of plans this summer. And despite the whole mess that was the van breaking down, I'm glad I was able to come here instead. Abandoning the van for an island park has been fun for the time being, but between you and me, I'm already pretty excited when I start thinking about my next big road trip. And I can't wait to show you where I'm headed next.